What's going on, everyone? It's Eman here from the C-List of Villains and Eman's World of Geek. Today, I'm going to share with you what I ended up picking up for New Comic Book Day on September 21st, 2022, as well as a review of a couple of books that I read. Now, before we get started, do me a favor, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that way you guys get notified anytime I drop any one of these new videos. This week's haul is consisted of quite a few back issues as well as this week's haul, so let's go ahead and get things started and show you what I got. First up, with this book right here, I'm collecting a specific artist covers only. I don't know why I decided to do this. I just made life harder for me. I went through my back issues recently and I realized, wait a minute, I'm missing a couple of books. Now, I've read number one, but I still need this cover artist's number one because the one that I had, it got destroyed, and I've showed it on Instagram and I was quite devastated, but I'm gonna have to go back and look for that number one. But I found another key piece to this book that I've been waiting for, and now I can read it because I started reading number four. I'm like, wait, I'm kind of lost, what's going on? I went ahead and realized I didn't pick up number three, and I didn't want to get just any number three. I wanted to get the Jenny Frison number 3. So I went back and picked up Grimm number 3 by Jenny Frison. This is just the cover B, and all I'm doing is collecting the cover Bs for Grimm. Now I got to go back and find number 1, and then it's quite difficult to find it, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to go out there and I'll probably eBay it. It's not that expensive, so I'll probably eBay the number 1 for this. But first pick right here, Grimm number 3, Jenny Frison, because you just need Jenny Frison in your life. A lot of people rave about this book right here. I read the first issue and I thought it was fantastic. I just couldn't continue on for whatever reason, but now I'm back in it and I really want to go back and pick up this book right here. So I was only able to find number 3, number 4. I'm missing number 2, but I'm still adding this to the collection because I'm going to read this as soon as I find that number 2. So I know a lot of people like this, but do a Powerbomb number 3 and number 4. I've heard that Daniel Warren Johnson's doing a fantastic job with this book right here, and I really can't wait to read this one right here. I really enjoyed the first one, and since wrestling seems like it's making a huge comeback amongst the community, you know, I felt like let's go ahead and jump in. It sounds like a fun read, and at the end of that last not the last, but at the end of that first issue, I was like, oh, this is the direction we're going. So I should have read it. I should have continued on. I didn't get to, but hey, look, this is my chance to go back and pick up, what I'm missing. So I'm missing number 2, but I have number 3 and number 4, and I can't wait to get into to reading this series right here. Next up, you guys, anyone who watches me know that I'm a fan of this series right here. So I couldn't sleep on Wind. The Throne in the Sky number 2. I'm liking this adventure. Wind and his friends, they still need to get to a city to help prevent a war from happening, but it seems like war is at their footsteps. Now we have fairies, we have vampires, we have humans. Everyone's looking for Wind and his friends, and some want to start the war, some don't, and it's getting kind of crazy right now. This read was really fun. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed this book so much that I actually picked up the one per store. So this is the Michael Dialynis version, and I found this one. My comic book shop likes to just kind of sneak things in, and sometimes they'll just be like, oh, let's just put it in and see if anyone notices. And I found the 1 in 10 Jorge Corona version, so I got this one as well. I got all these for cover price. Like you can't beat that. I already went on eBay to see what people are selling them for. I'm like, cool. I know we're not supposed to rely on eBay, but knowing that people are buying it for a little bit more of a premium, and I picked it up at cover, that makes me happy right there. With this next one right here, I'm just waiting for it to finish now. I'm at that point where it's like, look, I'm just trying to be a completionist. Let's go ahead and finish the story. I read this one, and to be honest with you, I didn't care. I did not care about this issue right here. We're following B, and the government's trying to figure out everything about his past, and there's this mysterious woman. Now she's calling him the Unmute. I'm talking about Berserker number 10. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm just like, it started off pretty strong, and it's just been going downhill ever since, I think, like issue number 4, number 5. And at this point, I'm just like, I'm just gonna get it just to complete it, finish the story, see what happens. I'm just hoping that we get a good ending, one that we're like, okay, cool, I'm kind of glad I stuck around. But this issue was kind of like blah. It was all right, just filling in the holes. I actually like this one right here a little bit better. Now, anyone who follows me, anyone who watches my videos knows that I'm not big on Marvel or DC, but I do pick up some here and there. I have zero explanation for why I enjoyed this as much as I did, but I'm actually reading Avengers X-Men Eternals Judgment Day, written by Kieran Gillen, arts from Valerio Schiti. I think it's Schiti, and he's doing a fantastic job with the art in this book right here. I'm digging it. I'm liking it. I have no real reason to tell you why I like it. I just like the huge event that's happening, and I'm only reading the main series. I really am. I'm only reading it. I read this one right here. Everyone's getting judged by the Celestial that's on Earth. Everyone's trying to, fight Druig and trying to get him out of being Eternal Prime. And then something happens in here, and then there's a little bit. I want to say there's a little bit of a twist. I'm not going to say it's huge or anything like that, but I'm digging the world-ending event in this one right here. And I'm also very, very, very happy that I'm not picking up all the side stories, because I'm sure it would just blow things out of proportion. I just don't want that. I'm just sticking with the main story for now, just to see how things go. And I really don't care about the side stories just right now, the death of the X-Men, death of the Avengers, or whatever they are. But this is okay. It's okay. I'm gonna tell you now, like, if I'm gonna rate these like out of 5, they both get a 3. But I like this 3 more than I like this 3. If that makes any sense to to anyone out there. I don't know why I got this one either, but for collectors out there, you hear the word ash can, you just gotta put it in your collection. You're like, oh, ash can, what's going on? I should not have done it, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I did. I got this Frank Miller, Ancient Enemies Presents #1, Ashcan Edition, Ronin book #2. So there's quite a few things going on in there. There's 3 different stories in here. Sounds like Frank Miller is now creating his own publishing company, and this is the same thing like a lot of the indies out there. This is just creator-owned stuff right here, and he's got his Ronin 2. Part of his Ronin 2 book in here too. So if anyone's read the first Ronin, it's supposed to be a continuation to my understanding. It's just 3 short stories of what's going to happen in the Frank Miller world. So let's it's the beginning. So let's see how the beginning goes, and then we'll go from there. It was only $1, so I said, screw it, let me just go ahead and get one. I see people pick up like 12 of these. I'm like, come on, dude, it's $1. Relax. I didn't say I was going to give you guys a review. So I'm going to go ahead and review 2 of my favorite books over the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to say the last 2 weeks because one of these books I should have picked up last week, and one of these books is this week's book. So my quick little review on last week's favorite book. And man, I really, really enjoyed this one. This one was just, it's along the lines of creepiness. We're talking about Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino's 10,000 Black Feathers #1. Now, I was wondering what this is going to be about because The Passageway was only 1 book. It was 1 hardcover, right? So I was wondering if this is going to be a one-off also. Looked into it. Looks like it's going to be a 4-issue series. Really creepy art, of course. I mean, Andrea Sorrentino, I'm going to say super underrated. I will, because I don't hear enough people talking about this person's art. Their art is fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's creepy. It's eerie. It sets the mood exactly how it's supposed to be set, and Jeff Lemire's writing, when he does his creepy, eerie stuff, it's creepy, it's eerie, it's up there. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about this book right here. Trish and Jackie are best friends and avid gamers, but when the line between reality and their fantasy world is blurred by an evil darkness, can they be the heroes of their own story? Now, this book right here this first issue, I should say, follows Trish, who's a horror novelist who returns back to her childhood neighborhood. This comic jumps between her childhood when she first meets Jackie and the present. It sets up her relationship with her friend Jackie, but also shows the battle that Trish is fighting within her head. There's some creepiness going on in this book, and I don't want to spoil too much. There is an entity involved, and We're not sure if this thing is real, if it's in her head. It definitely gives you that tension of horror throughout the book, and that's what I really enjoyed until you got to the end, until you actually see what this figure could be. I don't want to spoil too much. I think I might have spoiled it already, but I really did enjoy this one right here. Andrea Sorrentino does not disappoint in keeping the eerie factor alive with his art style. This is like I mentioned. I need to mention also how the colorist Dave Stewart does an amazing job in keeping that horror vibe alive by giving us colorful flashbacks. So Dave Stewart's known for, giving us the Andrea Sorrentino dark, gritty, that scary, eerie look. But there are flashbacks in this book which are a lot more colorful than I'm used to in a Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino book, which gives me almost Ice Cream Man vibes. And anyone who's read it, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But like the color palettes chosen in those colored flashbacks, it did raise a little bit of tension in me, because I was flipping through the book and all of a sudden like, whoa, this is colorful, this is kind of bright, what's going on? But I really liked that. That's one thing I did like about this book, was that the flashbacks give us a colorful youth, but you also know that there's something going on. It just, for me, it felt like it added more creepiness to the book. I hope that makes sense. I really enjoyed this first issue. If I'm going to give this a grade, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Maybe I'm biased, because I really enjoy when Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino get together and when they do some stuff that's creepy. And I like the setup here, because Trish almost seems like she does have a grip of what's going on, and it almost seems like she's not fighting it. It almost seems like she's letting this happen in her head, and she just says, forget it, I'm just gonna give in and just do it. And that's scary to me. This person's not fighting any demons now. It seems like she's just letting things happen. And we have 3 more issues to go to find out exactly what's going on with Trish, and I'm really digging what I've read so far. Now on to this week's favorite read, and when there was a lot of hype behind this book right here. There's so many. From what I saw, there was at least 45 covers for this book. I'm not going to go out and chase all 45. I'm not that big of a fan. I do like this creative team. I'm talking about Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. And this week, I'm going to give my favorite read to Vanish. I'm honestly surprised at how much I like this book. Overhyped. Again, just like crossover, I think. Overhyped. But how is the book going to be? Like, you can tell me that there's 45 covers, but how is the read? Am I going to care? And I've read this first issue and I care. It's crazy. I like how it was set up, like from the get-go. Donny Cates has got this thing about the main protagonist being some kind of either a drunk or not attached to the family, almost estranged. This is no different. We have a main protagonist here. He has a wife, he has a loved one, definitely detached, has a drinking problem. I mean, like Eddie Brock, has gone through that. The guy in God Country also had, his was more of a mental illness, but still detached from the family. And even in crossover, Ellie still, or Ellipsis, she felt like she was detached from everyone too. And that's just Donny Cates' style, I guess, right? So let me read a little bit about this one right here. Oliver Harrison is a mythical hero who slayed the greatest threat to his realm before even hitting puberty. But that was then. As an adult, Oliver leads an average cookie-cutter suburban life, aside from the fact that he's mentally unstable, massively paranoid, smokes like a chimney, and gets blackout drunk every night to hide from his horrific nightmares. Will the arrival of a superhero team called the Prestige prove the madness isn't all in Oliver's head? And what about all the epic fantasy crap from his childhood? Honestly, I thought I was going to hate this book. I really did, but Donny and Ryan came through. Donny, like I say, Donny seems like he likes this messed up family dynamic right here. The book feels like a combination of God Country mixed with The Boys. Now, this is just me. I'm not asking for any validation here. That's just how I felt. I thought it was a fantastic first issue. I actually want to see how it's going to happen. I want to see how it's going to unfold. And I'm rooting for I'm definitely rooting for this one to be better than crossover. It's already starting off pretty cool. We already see Oliver, and he already got into his first fight, and he got into a fight with what was deemed as one of these superheroes. But then you find out that there is more to these superheroes, than meets the eye. I don't know why I used that term, but I used it anyway. So it's going to be Oliver versus these superheroes, and well, Oliver is just gonna have to snap out of whatever he's in and come back to reality and pretty much defend his realm again. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to spoil too much. Again, I tend to spoil stuff, so I'm trying to be as vague as possible, make you guys like it as much as possible without giving too much away. So my recommendation this week, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Vanish #1. It was a lot better than I thought. Is it overhyped? It's Donny Cates. It's definitely overhyped. Is it worth the hype? I don't know just yet, but I can tell you this. I truly enjoyed this first issue. The art from Stegman was fantastic. Donny Cates is doing his writing. I like the dynamics already between Oliver and the Prestige, and I want to see how this goes. Like I said, feels like God Country meets The Boys. Just keep that in mind right there, you guys, okay? Well, that's it for my new comic book day haul and my review of my favorite books over the last couple of weeks. What books did I bring out that you liked? Which were some of the books that you read this week? Tell me some of your favorite books that you've read over the last couple of weeks down in the comments below. I want to know. I may need to be adding some more comics to my collection because some of the comics that I've been reading, they're about to end real soon. So it's time to add some more titles to my pull list there, you guys. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. Look for me at C-List Eman. Also look for me and the guys at the C-List Villains Podcast. We do a live podcast and show on YouTube every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 11 p.m. Eastern for all you folks in real-time world. And keep an eye out. My Eman show is going to be coming up probably when I post when it's coming up. I actually have a few guests lined up for the Eman show, so keep an eye out because I'm going to be doing something nice and big with that one right there, you guys, okay? All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until the next issue. Deuces.